Hello, I'm Rob Reiner from Tachyum. Today we're going to showcase our latest milestone by demonstrating hardware-assisted sampling running on our Prodigy Universal Processor FPGA emulation system being used for advanced compiler optimizations. Compiler optimizations are critical for improving performance, response timing, storage footprint, and platform TCO for a wide range of modern computational workloads. Profile-guided, also called feedback-directed, optimizations are very powerful techniques of modern compilers, as they utilize data collected during program runtime to further improve performance beyond what static optimizations can achieve. Applying the collected profile requires compiling the program a second time to guide the compiler to further optimize code generation. It was observed that these advanced optimizations provide up to a 10 to 15% performance increase enabled by techniques that include separation of code into hot and cold sections to achieve better spatial locality and cache utilization, aggressive inlining and loop unrolling of the hot sections to extract better parallelism, optimizing conditional branches with uneven probabilities to improve fetching efficiency, as well as other powerful techniques. There are two ways to build the runtime profile. The PGO approach would be to instrument generated code to collect and save execution details. It creates a more accurate profile, but is very impractical to apply in production. Alternatively, AutoFDO doesn't rely on code modification, but the flow uses specialized hardware blocks to support low overhead sampling. That makes it possible to collect profiles of production binaries on typical production inputs. The amount of collection overhead can be adjusted to find the best compromise between profile precision and resources spent to collect the profile. Because of the limited overhead, the AutoFDO profile is less precise than in the PGO case, but the lower precision can be mitigated by sampling over longer periods of time or merging the data collected on multiple instances. Both techniques require recompilation to apply insights gathered from the application profiles collected. The results for PGO and AutoFDO are typically similar, with the AutoFDO results closely tailing ones from PGO. While PGO requires no hardware support, AutoFDO does, and our Prodigy CPU supports hardware-assisted profile collection, so it's up to the customer to choose the best approach for their use case. Now let's start our demo. We pre-booted the FPGA instance running Linux version 6.10. We will use PerfTool to collect runtime samples and GCC version 13 to compile and recompile the sample application. We're using a simple application which consists of a few nested loops performing operations which are not well predicted statically. Actual details of the application itself are not very important, as we're concentrating on the overall flow. We'll run our application multiple times and compare the performance of the non-optimized version, the most aggressive static optimizations using the switch -03, and with the profiles collected by PGO and AutoFDO flows. First, let's compile what we can prior to profiles collection. We'll keep statically optimized binaries to run at the time when we're ready to compare them all. For now, we'll run the instrumented binary to generate the PGO profile, followed by non-instrumented statically optimized binary under the IPU subsystem sampling. That step already produced a profile for PGO, but for AutoFDO, we now need to use an additional tool to convert sampling data into the format that the compiler will understand. In our case, we use just a single short session to collect the samples. The sample tool is capable of merging multiple sampling sessions into a single profile as long as the sampled binaries are identical. Now, let's recompile our program 2 more times using the aggressive optimizations and the profiles we just collected. Now we're ready to run our 4 contenders and compare their runtimes. Let's review the final summary. The unoptimized binary run is quite bad, more than 12 times worse than the statically optimized version with the -03 optimizations. Both profile-based binaries are shining, highlighting the substantial gains from profile-based optimizations. The FDO-based optimization is slightly worse than PGO, which was discussed earlier. The FDO profile is not that precise, and we collected it from a single sampling session. The overall results clearly demonstrate the benefits of AutoFDO profile-based optimization for data center workloads. That concludes our demo. Thank you, and be sure to stay tuned for future Prodigy updates and milestones.